Hi, everyone. Hello. My name is Stacy Nell. It's 12 o'clock. I know because the tornado sirens are going in the background. And I'm here with our Monday Lunch and Learn for the Kansas African American Affairs Commission. I am thrilled today to be joined by Denise Sherman, the Executive Director of the Kansas African American Museum in Wichita, Kansas. And I have this thing I do that everyone loves. I have pulled your bio, so I'd love to read that for everyone. Get this. Denise serves as the executive director for the Kansas African American Museum, where she provides leadership by strategically focusing on the African American story. Using technology and innovative ideas, Ms. Sherman has retooled and upgraded educational programs for virtual and online access, developed new cultural awareness and enrichment programs in response to DE&I, and social and political climates, as well as moderated and participated in panel discussions with community leaders regarding sensitive, relevant, and compelling issues and topics. Ms. Sherman credits her master's degree in science of organizational development and reorganizing TCAM to serve as a cultural hub for the state of Kansas. So thank you so much, Ms. Sherman, for joining us. Hello, how are you today?
Well, thank you. And please just call me Denise.
Thank you, I will. Being that this is a lunch and learn, the first question I always ask all my guests is, what are you having for lunch?
Okay, well, that's easy because normally I don't eat lunch. It's very rare that I do unless I'm at a luncheon or it's a lunch meeting. So today it's the usual handful of Cheez-Its and a Coke. That's pretty much what I do. I don't eat a lot during the day.
You know, my husband has, if ever I'm working remotely, my husband will come in and be like, have you eaten? Because I will just get to going and I'll get to doing stuff that I'll forget to eat. And he'll be like, you got to eat. And so I'm always telling people, you must eat. We have to keep our strength up.
Well, I don't think anyone would argue that I don't eat. But with that being said, you know, it just kind of slows me down during the day. And so, you know, I like to enjoy my food and it makes me just kind of relax. So I find that if I get too relaxed after a meal, then I don't get as much done. So I kind of trained myself to kind of work through that. And then at the end of the day, I'm, you know, early in the morning, the end of the day, I'm pretty good.
You're good. All right. Well, you know what works for you. You've been you longer than I've been you. So you know what works for you. All right. So I wanted to have you on the show primarily to talk about the museum and some of the programs that you have coming up. But I know you've got some exciting news to share. But I wanted to also talk a little bit about you and your background and how you made it to museum work. And then I know from having a conversation with you about some other topic, you actually are active in radio. And so I want to talk about, how did you come to the position you're at now? What are some of the things that you've done prior to TCAM and how they tie in also to what you're doing now?
Well, thank you for asking all of those questions. Yes, my background is quite varied. And over the years, I have been in the medical field. I've been in the manufacturing industry as an owner of a manufacturing company that made airplane parts. I've been in higher education in various roles, and of course, radio. And so many of my experiences were overlapping. You know, someone said, how did you manage to do all those different things? But I often would do more than one thing at a time, simply like similar to what I'm doing now. But the common thread between all of my professional experiences were centered around emerging business or entrepreneurship, change management or being a change agent, or focusing on a larger movement or a larger issue. And then, of course, I've done professional development, certification preparation, teaching and workforce development. So all of those things kind of make up my, I would like to say my strengths. And helps me, you know, prepare for whatever role I'm taking on.
Was that all in the Kansas area? Because I know you grew up in Wichita. So were all these endeavors in the Wichita or Kansas?
Actually, they were. I've been able to navigate, move around the area quite smoothly with all of these varied experiences. Some of them covered the state of Kansas. Some of them allowed me to go to other spaces and places outside of Kansas, but the core was always here.
Fantastic. And so before and again, I brought you here to talk about TCAM, but I know that you did just recently start a radio station in the Topeka area. So do you
Yes.
want to talk about that? And I've got the website ready to drop in so people can know about it.
Right. Yes, I think it's just over a month now. My husband and I, Don, were able to stand up a new station, and we have been in radio for over 20 years and in various capacities. And so we had an opportunity to stand up a station in the Topeka Lawrence area, and it's called KQRMB. And it is, we are just excited about it. We are wonderfully blessed to bring the first African American local radio station, and African Americans are very loyal listeners and very engaged in the community. And the demographic that we're shooting for is 1854 R&B hip hop throwbacks, and we offer two nationally syndicated shows: DD in the morning and DR Jams in the afternoon, along with R-Dub slow jams in the evening. So we believe that the mix of music will be pleasing to the listener, and at least through the hour, everyone will have a chance to hopefully have a great memory through music while hearing a message that is empowering to the African American or urban audience.
See, that's cool. And that's something that my mother worked for a Black radio station in Waterloo, Iowa, growing up.
Mhm.
It was called KBBG, and the BBG stood for Beautiful Black Giant. So I grew up around a Black radio station in Waterloo. I was young. This was like my elementary school years and into middle school. I remember even being young because she would do a classical music channel, a classical music show of Black composers. So Black classical music composers. And I would just sort of sit underneath the mix table, because this was back. I mean, I'm old. So like a turntable, and she had like manually mixed things and stuff. So I've always had a heart for Black radio. So I'm thrilled that you are in that space doing that work. So congratulations on that. So
well, thank you.
Yeah, people go check it out. But then yes. Oh, someone put a comment in the chat. Have you all talked about how people can get help starting a business when you have no money at all? I will tell you, Miss Twombly, first of all, I had Rhonda Harris on the show a couple of weeks ago. So go to our YouTube channel and look up that one with Rhonda Harris. And then the Lieutenant Governor is coming on in October to talk about programs. It's on the docket to talk about programs for people to get access to capital and loans and grants to start businesses. So Sharon Twombly, check out the YouTube page. But so making the move from radio then to museum work. So you currently are the executive director of the African American Museum in Kansas, in Wichita. So talk to me how you came to that. Like, how did you find yourself in museum work?
Well, again, through my travels, my husband and I have always been supporters of the museum. And in fact, he actually served as a past board member. And the position became available when our former executive director, Mr. Mark McCormick, who served 2 different terms, was offered a position in the Kansas City area. And he recommended that I consider exploring the position, and I did.
Fantastic. And I'd read in that little bio how your background has helped you sort of retool and start programming. So what kind of programming have you guys been doing since taking over the position?
Well, we've been wanting to immerse technology as much as possible. So we've kind of put our big toe in the water and stepped out as much as we possibly can with the technology that we have. And it has turned out to be a really good investment for us. And so while we're looking to provide immersive experiences within the African American storyline, we've been able to attract and keep, young folks interested, and really, especially during the pandemic. That was a time that I think all of us had to rely on technology a lot more so than we've had in the past. But we still hold on to our tradition and our roots as far as a convening and a place where people get together and explore. So we marry the two together and we make it work.
Fantastic. One thing I specifically wanted to mention, I was lucky enough to see one of the inaugural performances. So you have Canaan. Do you want to talk about Canaan?
Sure do.
Yeah, please. Sure. This is, you have a half an hour, you can promote anything you want to promote. And so Canaan, talk about how that came to be about and how the partnership of getting that produced.
Okay. Well, Canaan is one of those experiments that we stepped out on faith earlier in the year. It took us about 2 years to really walk through the concept and figure out whether we should do it. And in doing so, we wanted to have a program we felt that would fit our 4 pillars. And so just kind of to give you an overall uh, idea, we center everything around our messaging, we are culture. And so we are culture is our messaging, our branding. And under that, we have 4 pillars, which is art, our art education, artifacts, collections. We have our history, which is our heritage and legacy. We have education, K through 12, higher ed, community education, and then culture. And so with all of that, Canaan fit all 4 of those pillars because we use those pillars as a guide to determine what activities and programs we'll move forward with. And so Canaan actually is a program that allows us to tell the story of 1968 civil rights. And this project allowed us to do many things as well as tell a story, provide history. Performing arts were something new for us, and actually bridge generations. Those who had not experienced the civil rights era learned something new, so that's educational for them. And those of us who have been a part of it had an opportunity to not only teach, but to go back and really reflect on what we knew then or experienced then, and then what we know now. And during that period that we were working through Canaan, we really felt that it was a great opportunity to, look at this perfect storm that was happening to us. We had Black Lives Matter, we had the pandemic, and then we also had different political issues going on. And so all of that, again, was very much mirrored what was going on in the civil rights movement, if you really think about it. And so it was a perfect opportunity to present that. And we are so excited to have it in the Kansas City area, September 16, 17, and 18. And it will be Friday night at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And then on Saturday, it will be at the J, which is in Overland Park, the theater at the J. And it will be presented on Saturday evening as well as Sunday matinee. So you can go to our website, www.tkaamuseum.org/Canaan, and then you'll have ticket information there. And we hope everyone will come from the Topeka, Lawrence, and from all areas around. Come out to Kansas City and join us.
So great. Yeah, I put the link to your website, the tkaamuseum.org, is in the chat. So please do check in. If you click on there, right on the first page comes up, it'll say you can buy tickets to Canaan. Like I said, I was lucky enough to get a chance to see an early production of it when it was in Wichita. Was that even the inaugural one where you had the high schoolers?
Yes.
Oh, see, so I'm special because I got to see.
We actually had a special showing just for high schoolers. We wanted to test that and give them an opportunity to have this experience. And we had a talk back with the playwright, Micah Ariel Watson. And that proved to be
who's local, right? From Wichita?
Yes, absolutely. And she was only 21 years old when she wrote this play.
Wow.
And so her insight and her, how she captured this movement at such a young age, meaning her at a young age, but really touched on some phenomenal things that were going on at that time was just remarkable. But more importantly, the talk back that we held for the youth that saw the play on the first production of the play allowed them to see someone live and in living color who was not too much older than they are, doing something phenomenal, capturing our story, capturing our history, and then actually putting it out to light. And so with that, I think that we hope that she was able to stir some imagination and some opportunities for people who came, and then let them know that there are many career fields in the performing arts as well as the museum, world history, and culture.
That's one of the things that have come up from a couple of times in this Lunch and Learn, this idea that you can't be what you don't see. And so I thought that was fantastic to actually, I know I'm not 21, I'm well over 20, but I was impressed by her and just think, gosh, just to see someone who, I know a lot of people might think, well, I can write stories, but to see, no, you can actually pursue, like you can write stories, you can get it produced and have people come and watch it. So that's just, it's fantastic. I was very impressed. So yes, everyone go check out the website, buy tickets to Canaan, go see that. It's a wonderful story. It needs to be told. Continue, very thought provoking as well. Because it sort of gave two sides of how people responded.
That's right.
During. Right. And so, I walked in thinking I was going to think one thing, but seeing two sides of it, it was thought provoking. There were a couple instances where I was like, okay, all right, hadn't thought about that. So it's a good production.
Well, mission accomplished. If we got you to thinking,
you did.
That's a start.
You did. It kind of took me off guard. I was like, well, I did not expect to have this response to this scene. But yes. All right. So now the next thing I did want to bring you on and talk about is that, first of all, I want to take nothing away from the historic nature of the building where you are currently. Mm-hmm. But I have heard that there are plans to move. So can you tell us about that?
Yes, and we are so excited. And I agree with you. There's probably going to be tears, cheers, and fears when we finally make that move. But yes, we are planning for the future. And in order for the museum to be sustainable long-term, beyond today, beyond this generation, we really felt it was important to look to getting a new location that will allow us to grow. And so we do have a new location in Wichita that is doubling our space. That will allow us to have dedicated educational space as long as dedicated cultural space. And in addition, it'll allow us to do some things that we weren't able to do, increase our footprint as far as technology. And again, that is so important to have immersive experiences. And also to take care of our collection, because it's vital that we take care of our art and our collection in a manner that will last for years. And so as we continue to think out of the box and think what has to happen beyond my time, my lifespan, we're looking for ways and are planning and strategically moving toward that. And a new building is in the works, yes.
So how can we help?
Oh, well, we have a capital campaign. And with that, we'll be sending out more information here shortly about, how people can support us, not only individually, but corporately or community-wise. We still have a ways to go. Our campaign is running about 6 million. And so we're halfway there. And so we have a ways to go yet. But when we get to that point, which we hope isn't going to be too long, we'll be able to renovate the building and then open the doors, and we will be visible and accessible, and we hope to be a destination location.
So just to be clear, the current location will remain open. So there's no plans to close the current location. Tell us where the new location is.
The new location's at 201 North Main, and it's just a little bit north of Douglas. Douglas is kind of the main thoroughfare in our downtown district, and so it's not very hard to find.
Fantastic.
We'll make sure you find it.
Okay. Will there be a sign or two, I imagine?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have any idea, like a target opening date?
No, again, funding will determine some of that. And then of course there's, the renovation, and, we all are experiencing, backlog and supply chain issues and all of those things, but we hope it's not too long.
Okay.
I just believe in my heart that it's going to move fairly quickly. So we'll keep everyone, updated, and they could certainly continue to check in with the museum by signing up for our newsletters, and and just coming to the museum, and we'll certainly keep you updated. But as soon as we get a solid target date, we'll let everyone know. We'll make that announcement. In fact, I'll probably call you up and say, "Can I come on again?"
and do right. I will gladly put you on and let you come and talk about the new space. So that's definitely what's going on. So now, what are some other things? Is there anything else you want to just shamelessly plug? I always tell people, if this is your chance, you can shamelessly plug anything you want to shamelessly plug.
Wow. I don't know. I think we covered a lot of things. With our current location, just want everyone to know that they still have time to come and visit us. So there's no, it's not going to happen tomorrow or next week, but we would love to see people come. This building that we're in now is actually part of our story. It's part of our history, our heritage, and our legacy. It's over 100 years old. It is one of 2 remaining original buildings from the original African-American community that settled here in Wichita.
It was originally a church, was it?
Yes, absolutely. And it it moved from a church to the first National Black Historical Society in the 70s, and served as a repository for our photographs and our documents and the preservation of the community. And it is actually on the, make sure I get this right, the National Register of Historic Places, and that will remain. So that won't go away. And then in 1997, the museum emerged into an art museum, from the first National Black Historical Society to the museum in 1997. And so right now we are celebrating our 25th anniversary as the museum. So yeah, all year long.
Congratulations, congratulations. Definitely, definitely. So fantastic. So that's part of what Canaan is also a part of the 25th anniversary.
And absolutely. It sure is. And again, looking to talk about all of the different things that evolved around that time period, starting conversations, reflection, what's the difference between then and today. And in fact, we are installing a new exhibition right now that will open next week, and it's called I Am a Man. And this was just pure divine because I signed up for this traveling exhibition 18 months ago. And it's here. And it'll open next week. And it is about civil rights. It has a lot of information about Martin Luther King and that time period. It touches on many, many things. And so we encourage people to come down and see it. It will only be here about 6 weeks. So it's, again, part of the traveling exhibitions in the network that we belong to. And so it will move to other spaces after it leaves here. But we encourage people to come down and see it. And it'll open on next week, September 6th.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So we're just jamming through the time. I'm always amazed. I can look up and it's like, oh, we're already at 22 minutes. This is only going to be a half an hour. So I always, every week when we do the show, I leave time at the end to talk about voter information. As we know, historically, our communities don't always get fully represented in voting. We don't always show up to vote. So I really want to always take a couple minutes at the end to talk about voting. And so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to encourage everyone to continue to check your registration. We can go to ksvotes.org. I'll drop that in the chat. You can check your registration or update your registration. If you have moved, please make sure that they have you at your current location. And also, if anyone has turned 18, if you have a child or a grandchild who turned 18, as long as they will be 18 by November 8th, they can register to vote. So even if they're 17 and 3/4 now, they can register as long as they're going to be 18 on election day. So you can go there and get them registered to vote. There's going to be a lot on the upcoming election ballot, so much so that it's my plan to spend the entire month of September, or definitely the entire month of October and a couple of weeks in September, talking specifically about what's going to be on the ballot coming up in November. There are 2 more constitutional proposed changes to the Kansas Constitution, and I'm dropping in links for Ballotopia. I always say Ballotopia. Okay, it's not Ballotopia, it's Ballotpedia. Discussions and explanations of the two more proposed changes to the Kansas Constitution. And I am in contact with, hopefully I'm going to get a political science professor from Wichita State University to come on and specifically talk about those at length, because I have heard him discuss them, and I don't think I could discuss it without having a expert there to answer questions. So please start to get informed by what's going to be on the ballot. The ballot will be lengthy, it will be long. There are a lot of things, and not just people running. There are issues on the ballot that will impact our lives as African Americans here in the state of Kansas. So please do pay attention to that. Okay, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Watch this space, because as announcements are made from TCAM, I will most assuredly have Denise on again to talk about how things are going with capital gains, with capital campaign, and when you move into your new space. So you will definitely be back on again. Oh, I caught her right as she started to cough. I will say she's under the weather. So we were good today to get this far without a coughing fit. So if you want to stay quiet the rest of the time, I will just, I will talk. Okay.
Thank you for being gracious.
But thank you so much, everyone. I will next Monday. Next Monday, there is no lunch and learn because it's Labor Day, and so I have a day off from the state government, so that's fantastic. Thanks, everybody. Please do check on the CAC's YouTube channel. CAC has a YouTube channel. Did everyone know that CAC has a YouTube channel? And this is the one link I didn't have pulled up and ready to go. CAC has a YouTube channel, and all of our past lunch and learns, let me get that over here, are on our YouTube channel. So you can, if you missed one, or if you're like, gosh, that conversation with Denise Sherman was fantastic, I want to share it with my friends, go to YouTube, and all the past lunch and learns are there as well. So we're getting all of our technology figured out. I had my college intern help me get everything figured out because I was like, I don't know. So she got it all worked through. So, and then she went back to school. Sierra, if you're watching this, I miss you. Okay, but we'll all get it figured out. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Denise, for coming on. I do wish you well in the rest of your day.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, everyone, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.